Good day, class. I am teacher Emman and I am here to help you with your subject oral communication in context. So I know we've given you this, our Dep Ed textbook, and of course your SLM or self-learning module. So I am here to guide you to better understand the material. All right? So, before going to the meat of our discussion, I'd like to ask you first what comes into your mind when you hear the word nature. So normally you associate nature to environment, but that is not the definition of nature that we will be talking about today. When we say nature, class, in our context, we refer to the inherent character. In Filipino, ito yung mga bagay na hindi talaga mawawala sa isang tao, bagay, or idea. In this sense, we will be talking about the idea of communication, the nature of communication. It's like just defining a communication. Now, you have to listen carefully because I'd like to know your own definition of communication after our discussion. All right, so the first nature of communication according to our Dep Ed textbook is it is a process. And when we say process, class, it is not automatic. It requires a step-by-step procedure. We actually have two processes of communication. One is the one-way and the other one is the two-way. One is one-way because with the sender giving the message to the receiver. Perfect example of this is what I am doing right now. I am the sender giving the message, the nature of communication, that's the message, and you are my receiver. All right? The second process of communication is the two-way. It begins with the sender, message, receiver, and giving feedback. So if you notice, class, the element of feedback is missing in the one-way process of communication. All right, we'll get more into details of this as we proceed to the next lesson. All right, so the first nature of communication that is in your SLM or in our SLM is communication is a message understood. So unless a message is understood, we cannot say that communication has taken place. Have you heard the word miscommunication? Yes, I'm pretty sure you heard that already. So, in the example given in our SLM, where came first? In Filipino, saan dumating una? Did you understand it? Definitely no, because it doesn't make sense. So there should be a clear message. So to change it, we can change the word where to who and try to address the one you're talking with. So mom, who came first, dad or brother? Something like that. Okay? And take note, for communication to take place, we have to consider two conditions. One is there should be a clear message, and the other one is the message must be understood by the receiver for whom it is meant. All right, so let's go to the second one. So the second nature of communication that is in your textbook is communication occurs between two or more people, the sender and the speaker and the receiver. Now, question, class, is this absolute? Is this applicable all the time? The answer is no, because we have what we call intrapersonal communication. We will discuss this as we go along with our course, but just to give you a glimpse, intrapersonal communication is you are talking to yourself. But since But usually, communication occurs between two or more people. That leads to the number two in your SLM. Communication is social interaction through messages. So class, take note of the keywords, social interactions, and of course, again, message. So we are social beings, class, meaning we always wanted, or most of the time, we wanted to express our feelings and experience with someone else. So in the example given in your SLM, it is very warm today. In that sense, you are expressing your feelings about the weather for today. So you can change that to it's very cold today because of the typhoon Pepito. So the third nature of communication that is in your book is communication can be expressed through written or spoken words, actions, that's nonverbal, or both spoken words and nonverbal actions at the same time. Class, take note, we have two kinds of communication. The first one is verbal communication and the second one is non-verbal communication. When we talk about verbal communication, this refers to the usage of words. On the other hand, when we talk about non-verbal communication, this pertains to our actions, facial expressions, tone of voice, movements, and the rest. Okay, now I have a question for you, class. Where does written communication fall? Verbal or non-verbal? Alright, if your answer is verbal, you are correct. Because again, verbal refers to the usage of words. Alright, so we're done with the nature of communication. Now let's proceed to the process of communication. So the process of communication starts with the sender. And if you notice, in your SLM, we have there the stimulus. Stimulus is the triggering factor. So for example, you heard your favorite song and suddenly you wanted to give a message to your best friend. So you say, hey best friend, you know what? That's my favorite song and I feel very happy today. So that is your message already, that you are the sender going to the message, and then the receiver is your best friend. And your best friend will now give the feedback. And the feedback can be, oh, best friend, that is also my favorite song and it reminded me of you. And then, of course, the sender or you will again respond to the message and the cycle goes on. All right. If you notice as well, we have what we call, you can see in your SLM, the word channel. When we say channel, it is the means of communication. In Filipino, saan ba dumaloy yung message? All right. So in this sense, we are using technology. In other situation, you can say face-to-face or through text message, through letters, through Facebook, through Messenger, like, and the rest. All right. Now, let's proceed to the functions of communication. Actually, there's a separate there must be a separate discussion of this. In your SLM, it says there we will discuss this in detail when we reach module 4. Okay, so just to give you a glimpse, we communicate to inform, clarify, buy, teach. Right now I am teaching Accept, criticize, inspire, question, understand, learn, affirm, deny, counsel, express, confirm, persuade, clarify, conceal, sell, promote, advise, reveal, motivate, and many more. So those are just a glimpse of why we communicate. There are different purposes. When we say function, of course, we talk about the purposes why we communicate. Again, we will discuss this in detail in module 4. Alright, so hopefully you learned from this video. This video helped you in answering your modules. And if you have questions, of course, we have our group chat. You can send it. You can throw your question there. That's it, and see you again on our next lesson. Bye!